bocce tournaments.
Oh, nice. Oh, I took bocce. This year I took
I'm gonna bring that up.
Oh, I
Still
gotta
upset
get-
about my
I
second
gotta
place
teach you
bocce.
guys
Want you to
about
get here one day.
boccia ball. Whoever plays bocce, there's a sport called
Yes.
boccia ball,
Yes.
and it's called that way because individuals in wheelchairs play that. My son, it plays
I
that,
see
he's
that.
ranked number
So right
one.
now, in the old days of
He's ranked number one in the Paralympic sport. He's not
Yes, I'm
China,
really
so
Wow.
the United States.
schools and it.
Yes, and you have individuals in wheelchairs. Some of them put the stick on the ball. It's the same bocce game, but it's called bocce.
Hi, how are you?
Good,
thanks.
National, international, major competition. My son is ranked number one in the United States. For his level.
Wow.
Yeah.
And our kids don't take it.
Yeah. One day I will.
I'm afraid for him.
Maybe have like.
You wait. Said a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that has to true to me. That is true. Yes, like,
Just
it's very stressing. Not cognizant of serenity.
Yeah, the only thing they don't play is on church.
Got a handout? The agenda, yes.
Baseball, softball, soccer, everything.
I meant,
Remember, we were talking about getting everything that we need from the market. Of course, I forgot something. What was it? Paprika. Oh, gosh.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. For coming
Felt it?
this evening to this special meeting of the Board of Education. We have a quorum. I ask that we please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can I please get an approval of the minutes from November, no, that's tonight. No approval. Okay. Yeah, so here we're looking for public comments on the tax exemptions. If anybody would like to speak?
We weren't really sure. We didn't know that was a topic.
There's more. It's okay. Okay. All right. Well, having no comments on the tax exemptions, I would like to turn this meeting over to Vice President Cavallari for it's the other agenda, the committee agenda. If you're following along, the other one was the special meeting agenda. There are two agendas tonight.
I understand.
Okay, do you have the right one? Do you want to?
Yeah, I have the, yep, I have special.
Committee? Okay. Do we have to adjourn the first one? Okay.
I got it.
Okay, I just close it, or we, I need a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the public session is closed, and now we are turning it over for the committee of the whole meeting.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the committee of the whole meeting. We have a quorum, we already said the pledge, and I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Morocco.
Thank you, Vice President Cavallari. Tonight, before we go through the agenda, to
see if the board has any questions. We have Sherry Diamond here to talk to us about the draft of the internal audit report, the updated risk assessment for the 23-24 school year. So I'll turn it over to Sherry.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much for inviting me here this evening. I'm going to try to follow on script with that little colorful handout. Mine's black and white, but that little handout that I gave you. There's actually two reports. We're sneaking in another one. I'm sorry, we're going to go fast. So we have the focused area report that we reviewed last year, which is the review of benefits, which is for the fiscal 23 year. And then we have the updated risk assessment, where like you're the first district for me to get this report out. So I'm going to say kudos to everybody in this office. So on the second page of the slide on the handout, we talk about our proposed internal audit plan that we had developed back in fiscal 2020-2021, when the world was still very much upside down. But the risks that we identified and the areas that we projected that we should be reviewing, we've been able to kind of stay on target. And that's one of the things that we want to discuss today as well tonight, is the focused area review for this coming, or this fiscal year where we are right now, the 23-24 school year. We had suggested that a review of employee attendance tracking be done for this fiscal school year, and that would be something that I would recommend. It's a great thing. It puts us in all the buildings. It really gets us looking at how the controls are for tracking employee attendance. And that's something I would defer to the committee and the board to make a decision as to if there's other areas that you would like us to focus on for this fiscal school year. Be happy to do that. Obviously, we have other things that we're looking at the same time while we're doing that. We're following up, but we're going to go through the updated risk assessment report in a minute. But first, I just want to take you to the health benefits, the review of employee health benefits. We received excellent cooperation from the district, and the review went very smoothly. I also want to give a little commendation to the district, actually, for your contracts that you have are very simple. It's very unique than other districts. It made this review a whole lot easier, where a lot of people are paying the same amount across the board. Retirees pay the same amount when they go into retirement. So it made it very easy to kind of follow through. So we felt that there were sufficient internal controls over the tracking, receiving, and paying of health benefits. To active employees, it looks at retired employees, it looks at surviving spouses, if you had anybody on COBRA, young adult options, etc. So there's money being paid to the district as a revenue source to pay for the premiums, and there's money walking out as an expense portion of it. We did a lot of testing there. We worked very closely with the business office and the benefits administrator at the time. We look for compliance with laws, rules, regulations, and your own policies. We do a bunch of different types of tests, as I described to you, to really make sure that the district's internal controls are intact. The overall results were very, very positive. The only thing that we had an issue with was the flood, unfortunately, and that damaged the employee files. The district had already started to digitize these forms using an application called Schoolfront, which is excellent. And we just need to get those other forms in. We can kind of complete that little part of the test, but we did not really have any errors. The recommendations that we had were, I would say, on the low to moderate risk side. Implementation of reconciliation procedures is really important. That's a hefty bill, your health insurance bill. So there's little techniques to be doing that. So we would definitely be able to help you with that. Just get those benefit forms, any of those paperwork, you need those digitized, and you need to get those into Schoolfront. And that's pretty much it for the health benefits review. So it went really well. It is your second largest expense. It's going up in cost. So it's really good to know that there are good internal controls in place over that. Are there any questions for that report? I know I went kind of fast. Please.
I just wanted to confirm what I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Young adults are like college age
Correct.
children of employees.
Of employees up to the age of 26, and that's low.
Correct.
And if they want to continue, they can, but they have to pay full price
Okay.
for their portion of it.
Okay.
No stone to it. It's kind of expensive, but you know, it's there. There were other things that we put in the report that we didn't test, but we just gained an understanding of how the processes would be performed. You just didn't have those people in those categories. So we just, in that case, you know, we couldn't test anything because we weren't doing it. So we just gained an understanding of the procedures, that they would be similar to something else like a COBRA, and we had no findings. We had no recommendations for that either. Okay. So far, so good with that? Yeah? Okay. Great. If you think of something wrong, small, you just yes. So the last piece is just the risk assessment. Like I said, for the first district that I was able to get this out and done. It is in draft because I do want to make sure that, you had the opportunity to, look at it and tell us, about the focused area review for this year. Obviously, the risk assessment report goes into a lot of different factors. It looks at staffing, it looks at policies, it looks at your board minutes, it looks at external factors as best as if I had, imagine all, but I don't. Didn't predict COVID happening either, so it is what it is. We learn from these things, but we try to factor in as many of those risks, and we look at a lot of different things out there that could potentially impact the district and what the district has in place to mitigate those risks. Obviously, we also look at the external auditors' reports, we look at the claims auditors' reports, and we followed up on prior audit reports that we had recommendations with. So that's now clipped as an attachment to that report at the end, so you can see the status and all of them were implemented. So props and kudos to everybody here. We looked at special ed, and that was that review that we performed a couple of years ago, and then the review of payroll. So you can see that on here, the scorecard of how well the district is doing as far as implementing controls, and that means that the district takes internal controls seriously, which is a really good sign. So the focus area test is the last thing. Again, we are recommending that we look at employee attendance. Like I said, I think it is a really worthwhile review. We talked to a lot of different people in each of the buildings. We get an understanding of how attendance is being tracked and how separation pay is being done. So it's something the controller's office looks at, but like I said, we defer to anybody else. And that's it. I can go over. Doug, please.
Yeah, you have like the healthcare, you have risk assessment, proposed areas of focus. Do you have a similar scope of, auditing routine as the external auditor?
No, sorry. So internal is a little different. We work really closely with, I would say, the business office predominantly, but anybody in district management. Our role is to identify risks and help the district to implement internal controls to mitigate those risks.
So,
We're year-round.
did you analyze or critique the cash management aspect?
Right, so that fiscal is a big part of what we do. So we're looking at the fiscal management there. We're looking at the external auditors report as well to get an understanding.
So you must have discovered that Capital One, since August, for 4 months since then, we have 9 accounts. 4 of them are money markets, and they're not paying
And then,
interest.
it's interesting to have this discussion because the interest rates are really incredible. So we talked about.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Right.
How
So
is that?
that was a discussion that we actually had about the investment strategies there. What you can, you have certain laws of where you can invest money. NICLAS,
NICLAS is the,
Right.
where you can invest in
Right.
securities.
NICLAS is a
treasury.
safe place to put the money because you have, in your policy, and I believe in almost all district policies, your criteria is not for making money and investments in a school. That's not the number one thing, it's to protect the assets of the district. Making money would be great, and we're in a position right now where we definitely want to be cognizant of the interest rates that are out there and try to move the money as much as we can where it's legally allowed to be moved.
Have you come across a protocol or procedure where the assistant superintendent of business or our treasurer, Mr. Cleary, actually on a weekly basis compare the interest rates, the going interest rates with the current interest rates? Because the other 5 accounts that Capital One has,
Right.
their checking accounts, only once in the past 4 months did it go under $2 million. So in essence, we have $2 million sitting there.
They could be making, right, so then you have
Well, I'm glad you're aware,
operating,
but I
right.
don't see that in the, I don't see this.
Right, so that would be in the risk assessment report, not, this is
Okay,
just a
okay.
really nice
That's what I was
summary, but I didn't really get into a lot of detail into that, but to your point, I mean, we do look at fiscal, for sure. It is something that we had a dialogue about, that we had with a number of districts to make sure that they were adhering to their policy and adhering to law when it comes to investments. But there's also an operating account where they have to have things liquid here. So schools, it's a little bit of a different than like a home investment or a business investment that can maybe lock up money.
Well, the Capital One is the one that's very in flux, that's where they pay the bulk of our
Right,
expenses.
that's the operating account, then you have to be careful about putting it in something that may lock it, or maybe more difficult to get that money transferred out.
Yeah, but.
I hear what you're saying, I do, I really do, and it's definitely something that is being discussed, and it's definitely a conversation that we have to say, well, you know, hey, how are we taking advantage of this? Capital One is a little bit better than Chase, but not much.
And I just want to be clear,
Yeah.
if you do invest in treasury funds, the treasury bills are actually very low. I mean, you could open up an account and get that treasury liquidated in a day, so. And as far as having monies available, so you don't let you run out of money,
Right,
again, Capital One does the bulk of those transactions, and only once in the past 4 months did it go under $2 million, it went to 1.8 million.
Right.
So, I mean, so it's like you can.
So-
Finale, the question was asked.
right,
And,
and I think it's a legit
yeah,
question,
right,
I think
right.
that's something that we will definitely, you know, it was something that came up, honestly,
Okay.
it was.
Conversation was had.
Yeah.
Point was made, I believe, the
Right.
superintendent of business and the import auditor
Yeah.
take your advisement and move
So
forward.
just because we do a focused area, doesn't mean we don't do anything
That's
else.
that's why I just brought it up and asked.
We also gotta ask, the board ask that
Right.
we don't risk our
Right, exactly,
financials, and it is liquid that we need something.
right.
But
Certainly we can do
one
it.
other issue.
Hold on, trustee Benelli, we have other trustees here.
Oh, I'm
Trustee Vicente, you had a question?
Please.
So based on that information, did you find that we were at risk because we
You're not
had
at
it in?
risk, you're not capitalizing on money. You're not taking advantage of that, but you're not risking your money either.
Okay,
So to put it that way, you're safeguarding it, you're following law and you're following policy, but we could be moving it into another account to maybe gain better interest and get more money into the district. Yes,
Right,
but
but
there's
would
also,
that discretion be up to our financial
yes,
person?
usually.
Okay, so in listening, you use the word legal.
Yes.
Is that something that we're doing, are we doing something illegal by
Absolutely
not
not.
doing that?
No,
Okay.
no, that, again,
I just wanted to be clear that
You're
we
not
were-
doing, actually, if you look at your policy, I mean, almost all school district policies, that is not the first mission of,
Right,
Not anything.
yeah, I get that, but you know, when you use the word legal, I want
Right,
to
but
make
there
sure that
are-
we're
there
not
are-
doing
right.
anything illegal
We're
and
not.
that we're not
Right.
in a risk
no, no,
assessment because
Right.
we didn't move that money to somewhere else.
no.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yes.
Trustee Benelli?
Just to catch up on trustee Vincenti. Yeah, I've never seen, I've not, since I've been on the board, I've not seen anything that comes close to anything illegal. It's just a matter of that we're not, doing one of the policies, I think it's 6230, has to do with the investment policy, and that falls squares on the assistant.
Right, but like I
superintendent.
said, that policy, our
Right.
number one
Trustee
thing
Benelli,
is
the
not.
question, what's the question?
Right, so just wanted to affirm,
Yeah.
trustee
And
Vincenti.
it will be.
The question, right, Mr.
definitely-
Benelli?
Excuse me, I'm talking.
I understand, and I'm controlling the meeting. I'm asking you to please put your question forth. Thank you.
Just as a point of interest, the board, a month ago, I guess, stated they don't want account numbers on the, I requested the bank statements, okay? I got those bank statements, and they didn't have any account numbers on it, because they felt that they should not be on there. However, every month we get the treasury report. Every year, that's 12 reports. I've been here for 2 years, I got 24 reports. And on them, if everyone's looking at them, they actually have the bank account numbers on them. Are you aware
I
of
mean,
that?
I'd like them not to have a full account, but, people.
I don't know if any of my
bank
fellow
account
trustees
numbers.
are aware of that. but
Usually you can put the last 4 digits on there,
Right.
just nickname the account. You want to just think about safeguarding things a little bit more,
Right.
but
But
not
I'll
that
use those
anybody
ones.
could access it.
All right, thank you.
I'm sorry, are you saying the treasurer's report should not have the account?
No, I didn't say that, maybe it could be not the full account number on it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it should or shouldn't, I'm just,
Oh, no, I was just bringing up the fact that.
it usually does, we usually see some account number referenced on the treasurer's report.
No, I'm just bringing out that there's a conflict there. On one hand, they don't want the account number, but we've been getting the monthly treasury reports, and I'm
So
sorry,
if you
all the
don't,
account
then
numbers.
I would put some of like just the last four identifying numbers and just the name of the account on there. I mean, this day and age with security, it's
Thank you.
bad.
Thank
I don't think you're at risk for.
Any other questions for the board? Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate the report.
Thank you. Listen, have a great Thanksgiving, holidays, talk soon.
Thanks. Dr. LaRocca?
Thank you for your report. Okay. So the report of the superintendent, next week will be, district snapshot, sharing information about, data across the district. So I will have more information for you on that. The education committee, is there any questions on education committee or the education committee consent?
Any questions? Trustee Vicente?
On number one, is there specific parent workshops that were, or this is just any kind of parent workshop?
No, these are for the special education services for parents.
Special.
So it's the parent training and counseling, if that's listed on the student's IEP, then we've been using consultants for that work, but we have some very talented district employees, so we wanted to start using them for some of that mandated service.
Any other questions? Dr. LaRocca?
The business committee, they're just the business committee. Of course, two of those resolutions are the real property tax exemption resolutions. So that's why we had the public hearing tonight, and then the board will be taking action on both the senior tax exemption and the exemption for persons with disabilities and limited income. And also you'll see that the approval of the risk assessment that we were just presented to the board and also sent home last week will be one of those resolutions.
Any questions from the board? Dr. LaRocca?
Okay. Policy committee will have those policies listed. Information was also sent home about those. And we will have links to the red line policies for the first reading, and then next month when we do the second reading, we'll have the non-red line version, okay? For the second reading and adoption. Okay, committee of the whole, committee of the whole questions, there's committee of the whole and committee of the whole consent.
Trustee Russell?
Thank you. Just with 4, 5, and 6, so the consultants, are those consultants we've used, is this something just like a first kind of?
Yeah, sure.
We've used them before?
So, yes, we have. So ProReal Language Services is the translation service that we've been using for quite a number of years. I honestly don't know when we started. But that allows us to have, basically anyone can call in a number and get a translation on demand. So we use that for a lot of parent interactions. We use it at the CSE when parents would like translation. The ruler training, I think it was 7 years ago that the district adopted the ruler program, and a core team of people were trained, but we have, which was administrators and the psychology team, we've had some turnover in the psychology and social work department, so we're gonna, time to get some other people trained. And CDMI is a professional development consultant that we have used in the past for special education, professional development.
Thank you.
And those will be, the ruler and the CDMI professional development will be funded, grant funded, not from the general fund.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions from the board? No other questions, Dr. LaRocca?
Thank you.
Okay, no other questions? That concludes the committee of the whole.
Oh, actually, I have one,
Hold on. Trustee Benelli?
Thank you, Vice Chair.
Sorry, is it a question of this, or?
Oh, push of the whole, is that just, oh, no, we can continue, I'm sorry. I thought there's more.
No,
parts to
no,
the,
this is the next meeting.
Yeah, that's my.
Any questions on this, sir?
No, have a great Thanksgiving.
Okay, so that being said, that concludes the committee of the whole. Thank you. Can I get a motion?
I make a motion to go into executive session to discuss legal matters with the attorney, superintendent, and the assistant superintendent.
Moved in second on the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are going into executive session.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thanksgiving, have a great
Happy
one. Yes, enjoy your families, happy Thanksgiving.